Hello, dear friends. I am glad to welcome you to my channel, and in today's video, we are going to cook a delicious chocolate cake with creamy cottage cheese cream. The cake turns out to be very tasty, and chocolate cakes are perfectly combined with a delicate creamy cream. First of all, we prepare a chocolate sponge cake. From 7 eggs, we separate the whites from the yolks. If a little yolk gets into the protein, it's okay. These actions cannot be done if you add baking powder. You can immediately beat eggs with sugar without separating the yolks from the whites, and then introduce dry ingredients with baking powder. Add a pinch of salt to the whites and beat the whites to a fluffy white foam. Sponge cake without baking powder turns out very tasty, but not as high and porous as with the addition of baking powder. The whites are whipped into a fluffy white foam. Stop whipping and start whipping the yolks separately until lightened. Add 3½ tablespoons of sugar to the whites and yolks. Beat the yolks so that the sugar dissolves a little. At this stage, you can add 1 bag of vanilla sugar. Next, whisk the proteins with sugar as well so that the sugar dissolves and the proteins become lush and stable. Pour the yolks into the proteins and mix with a mixer or whisk at low speeds. Seven tablespoons of flour is about 200 grams, mixed with 2½ tablespoons of cocoa and sifted into the dough in 3 approaches. Mix with a silicone or wooden spatula in a circular motion from top to bottom until the mass becomes homogeneous and without light lumps. To make the biscuit more chocolate, I added another ½ tablespoon of cocoa. Chocolate sponge cake will be much tastier and not so dry if you add 30 grams of butter. Melt it in the microwave and put some of the dough into a plate. Mix with butter and then pour into a common bowl with dough. And once again thoroughly mix the dough. We cover the split form with baking paper and do not lubricate it with anything, since the butter on the sides often does not allow the biscuit to rise well. Pour in and distribute all the dough according to the form. By this time, the oven should be preheated to 180 degrees. We put the biscuit in the oven on a medium level and bake for 20–25 minutes. We check the readiness with a wooden skewer. It should be completely dry and clean. We draw a spatula along the sides of the mold, separating the biscuit from the detachable ring. Remove the detachable ring and put the biscuit on the grill until it cools completely. Now let's prepare the cream. The cream will consist of 3 ingredients: cottage cheese, condensed milk, and butter. All products for the cream should be of the same temperature. We put 300 grams of cottage cheese in a bowl and pour 300 milliliters of condensed milk. Beat with a mixer until fluffy and homogeneous. I have cottage cheese made at home. I made it in advance from Ryajenka. The link to the recipe will be under the video. Beat the soft butter with a mixer until lightened and fluffy. In a bowl with whipped cheese and condensed milk, add 1 tablespoon of butter and whisk until smooth. When all the oil has been added, beat a little more and the cream is ready. I cut the sponge cake into 2 cakes. We assemble the cake in a detachable form. We put the first cake and soak it well. For impregnation, I heated 80 milliliters of milk and added 3 teaspoons of sugar and a little vanilla sugar to it. Cakes can be impregnated with coffee impregnation or impregnation with condensed milk. Visually divide the cream into 2 parts and pour 1 part on the first cake and distribute evenly. From the second cake, I cut off the protruding top. From it I will make the top sprinkle for the cake. We put the second cake and soak it well again. Pour out the remaining second part of the cream and evenly distribute it over the cake. Cut the top off the biscuit finely with a knife or interrupt with a blender. The smaller the crumb, the better. I cut it into small, even cubes. Sprinkle the sponge cake pieces on top of the cake and put the cake, preferably overnight, in the refrigerator for impregnation, or at least for 3 to 4 hours. The night passed and the cake was perfectly soaked. The top can be decorated with cocoa, powdered, or coconut shavings. I had just a little cocoa left, and I lightly sprinkled the top of the cake. The cake turned out very tasty. Chocolate cakes are perfectly harmonized with creamy cottage cheese cream. This cake is perfect for a tea party or a holiday. It's not difficult to cook it, but the taste exceeds all expectations. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and like it. Bye, everyone.